Hello all, it is still July 2024 and I have here another razor that I believe is destined for use in the Reddit Austere August event. This is a beautiful little FW Engels special 5/8. Let's see, Solingen. Beautiful, beautiful razor. I'm gonna show you a picture of the edge right now. That edge looks a little drastic, but I'll remind you that the magnification is 940x and it can look worse than it really is. So I'm going to give a shot to a one stone hone today. I'm going to start with the Chu nagura. That's this stone. This is primarily used for sword sharpening, but it's got it creates a wonderful slurry and cuts pretty well. So I haven't used it a lot, but I have that experience with it. Then I'm gonna follow that with my coma. I hope I showed you this. I'm never sure what's on camera. Here's the Chu. Here's the coma. I'm gonna follow the Chu with the coma nagura. And then I'll do Tomo nagura with the diamond plate, followed by probably soapy water. So, and this is my Ozuku Mizuasagi stone. As usual, I'm displaying my incredible depth of knowledge by showing you that it's just written on the side. I wouldn't know otherwise. Okay, let's get going. I'm going to put a little water on the surface here, make sure we're boulder free, and we'll get going. Find an edge. I'm definitely going to be using a fairly thick slurry today because I want to basically reform that edge. I'm not going to kill the edge. I'm going to let the slurry do that for me. I'm going to show you building this slurry, but you know, it takes time, and so I'm not going to be showing you me building the next slurry. This rubbing one stone onto another, I think you get the idea. So if you're wondering how did I choose the Ozuku versus my other Japanese stone, the Nakayama, well, I just felt like using the Ozuku today. No real reason. The owner did not specify what to use. The edge that's on there, or was on there, looks to be synthetic, but I think that you know, I do have to remove material from the edge. I feel like the variation in abrasive size does sort of a gentler job of repairing an edge than killing it on a synthetic stone. Even though you see me use synthetic stones most of the time, I do that because they're quickest. But my hunch is that this is not going to take a ton of time, but you know, I've been wrong before. Okay, here we go. Let's see what we've got here. I did check the Again, beautiful little razor. I checked, it lies flat. On both sides, which is nice. Does not have a ton of spine wear, and the spine wear that's here is nice and even. The bevel wear is not even. There's one side where there's obviously more wear on the bevel than the other. I'm going to ignore that for now and see how things develop. See if that becomes an issue. The shorter strokes that you see me sort of taking kind of just relate to trying to stay in the slurry. Try to catch more of this slurry over here. No matter where I go, the slurry goes to the other side of the stone. Got to figure that out. There's obviously some sort of a cant to this setup here. I thought I had figured it out, but I made that adjustment today, and clearly I was wrong. So hang on just a second here. I'm definitely feeling a lot of stuff on the stone, which I don't want to feel. So I'm going to pause, clean off the stone, or at least, well, hang on a second. Maybe what I'm feeling is okay. Let me clean off the razor. Do a feel around. No, I think that's okay. I am going to pause and do something about leveling, so I'll be right back. Okay, I have placed a precision leveling device right here. That's a paper towel. Let's get going. I also added a little bit more slurry because, again, I want, as the water sort of comes out of the slurry, I want something nice and thick to do the initial work on the edge. May not have leveled enough. But it's certainly better. I can probably live with this. Definitely a little bit more pressure down, a little bit more edge bias here. We want to get this edge taken care of. But even though I'm only adding a little bit more. I like to be gentle with these things. You can, and I like to be somewhat efficient with number of strokes so that I remove the amount of metal that needs to be removed, and hopefully not too much more. All right, let's kind of see where our testing, let's see where we are. Have we brought an edge to, do we have the equivalent of a knife ready to go into a gunfight here? We do. Look at that. I didn't test before, but you saw the condition of the edge. I did do one of these when I got the razor, and it was dull to the touch. And I have a pretty experienced feel there for edges, so at least I think so. Been at it for a long time. Okay, I'm loving that. Let's move on. I'm gonna clean off, raise a slurry with the Koma nagura, and I will be right back. Okay, Koma nagura slurry has been raised. This was first rinsed, and then I raised the new slurry. So let's start working on this edge. Trying to speed up the abrasion by just staying to one side, staying in the slurry here. Not yet. We're still not developed to where we should be with this slurry. And I'm losing slurry somehow. So we're going to have to build some more. All right, let me do that. I'll be right back. All right, we're back. There we go. I'm really just waiting until I get this kind of flow more easily over the entire edge. And that flow should happen with pressure down, but very little torque. And right now, it's hard for me to get an idea of it. There we go. There we go. Starting to just now come into play. And as I don't talk about it enough probably, but I'm also paying attention to how the edge feels on the stone. I really haven't felt the kind of change yet that I would like. So maybe that's coming. Maybe this is one of those days where my sensitivity isn't so good. It happens. I have good days and bad days. Try to figure out how to adapt to both. All right, I'm thinking I may be potentially waiting for something that's not coming here. So let's see what the tail of the peanut is. Well, it's darn sharp. That's what the tail of the peanut is. Yeah, that's really good. Okay, so from a sharpness perspective, I'd say we're there. I'm going to clean up, raise a slurry with the diamond plate, and I will be back. Okay, this is the Tomo slurry raised with the diamond stone, and that feels really awesome. You really get with this, once you get to the Tomo slurry stage, you're really feeling the stone's abrasive against the stone's surface. That feels amazing. This is definitely this is the addictive part of these expensive Japanese water stones, natural stones. Boy, that just feels amazing. And it does, that kind of feedback promotes, once you sort of have the touch for pressure and torque, edge bias, I should say. I like that. I like edge bias. Once you sort of have the knack of that, and I think anybody can get it, just practice. You can do it. Then there's a lot of information from these Japanese natural stones. I do not get this kind of feedback. Now, I have a lot more experience with the Japanese natural stones simply because, as I mentioned before, they cost so much. You have a tendency to use them a lot. I don't have equal experience with these and cauticles and some of the other stones I have. But boy, this is really addictive. Really feels good. What feels good about it is I can feel the entire edge. I can feel it sliding across the hardness of the stone, and the slurry, the Tomo slurry, gives it a velvety texture, and so I can feel it provides feedback, a tremendous feedback on the edge. As you can see, this slurry is fairly thick, and it's doing its job. I have very little edge bias at the moment because I'm watching and feeling for the edge contact. I'm loving the, excuse me, I'm loving the look of the way the slurry is flowing over the edge. And I'm also, I'm really liking the contact, the feel of contact here. So I think I'm going to do a little thinning of this slurry before I go on and do some more passes. And there's really no need at the moment to do half strokes. I've got excellent edge contact. This is what I think I'm doing here. I mean, I could take the time, but I could take the time to show you a sequence of microscope images, sort of when we start the slurry, how it looks with thick slurry, how it looks with thinner slurry. I have actually done that for myself. It's a ton of work. So I'm sorry about that. I'm not going to do it. But I've done it. That's part of the education I've had with this microscope. The microscope is not something you need to hone well. I mean, this particular one with the ridiculous magnification, and it is designed. This microscope is designed to look at shiny objects. So it's perfect for looking at edges. But with so much magnification, there's a tendency to sharpen for the microscope. And I did use it to refine my stroke technique so that I could get cleaner edges. But I've also learned over time, I mean, I've had the microscope for about 2 years. I've learned over time that edge perfection is not necessary. A razor will shave just as well with an edge that's not visually perfect in that microscope, because that edge will be visually perfect at lesser magnifications. All right, this is just great. All right, let's do a test. I think I already know what the test is going to be, but since you're riding along, you got to do something to help. Yeah, so wow. Yeah, we're already at an excellent spot here. So I'm gonna pause you, rinse, raise a little soapy water, I think, and I'll be back. Okay, soap bar us here. I'm gonna do the thing where I do half strokes, but I have actually pressure back towards the spine. The edge, the apex is in theory barely touching the stone, and I'm working more towards the back of the bevel here to do some polishing, and then we'll transfer to more traditional passes here in a sec. The other advantage of this is that it builds up suds. It gives me something to dilute. All right, let's do some, yeah, look at that. Wow. Yeah, well, I'm gonna go back and forth until I feel I can already tell it's going to happen soon. Till I feel that edge conform to the flat surface. I actually flattened the stone. I didn't mention that. Prior to this step, I flattened the stone. Prior to the Tomo Nagura step. And I do that, I mean, these stones wear, and I do that because I really want this effect. As I get down to the nub here, I want the stone to be, the surface of the stone to be even enough that I can feel it grabbing along the entire edge. And this effect you can feel, you know, if it's happening at the heel, then you can feel it at the heel. If it's happening at the toe, then you can feel it at the toe. And you want to, you know, I've mentioned before, you want to have, it's more important to have an evenly honed edge from heel to toe. That's far more important than to have only one section of the razor sharp. And even if your reasoning is, well, I only use, you know, from here to here, so it doesn't matter. Think about it from a wear perspective. From a wear perspective, if you only have this part of the razor sharp, that means you're also only wearing this part of the spine if you're not using tape. If you are using tape, then you're really changing the geometry from here to here and not changing the geometry from here to here. So there are repercussions to the you know, to the reasoning of, oh, I just don't use that part. I would suggest that even if you don't use that part, good technique, developing good technique is developing the ability to get the entire edge evenly sharp. You know, this is not my razor, so you can imagine that the owner of this razor might be quite pissed if I didn't do a thorough job. Boy, that just feels good. Yeah, sorry, I get carried away. Okay. Yeah, that's just friggin' awesome. Yeah, that's really good. Nice. That's exactly the same pressure everywhere. Okay, so I'm gonna take a microscope photo of this. Then I'm going to strop it, and then, well, I'll come back after I take the microscope photo. So hang on. Okay, I'm back. Both the actual edge condition, apex condition on the razor look good, but I mentioned when I started out that it appeared that one bevel was much larger than the other, but that I was gonna see how that developed. And under the microscope, the abrasive from the stone is only reaching a tiny area on this side and is reaching what I would consider to be a much more normal area on this side. So let me see actually if that's right. No, it's the other way around. This area is pretty good. The height of the bevel on this area is larger, much larger than the height of the bevel on this area. So what I'm doing at the moment, I'm back on the Chu Nagura, and I'm working to it won't go all the way, but I'm working to widen this bevel a little bit. It isn't great to have no surface area, because if you have no surface area, you have no control over the way in which the edge either comes in and out. Like, it can come in and out, the edge can come in and out, and you have no control because there's no material there. Or the edge can wave in this direction, and again, you don't have any material there to control it. So you want to have some bevel area. And that's what I'm doing here. Is I'm going to rebuild the slurry, and I'm just doing this on one side. I'm going to even that out later, but I'm repairing the bevel size. And again, I don't expect them to be equal, but I want more bevel on this side than I currently have. So I'm going to continue this. I'm not going to make you suffer through watching me. I mean, you've seen now what I'm doing, and I'll come back to you after I've had another inspection with the microscope, and if that's good, you'll see me coming back after I've brought this up through the soapy water solution. So I'll be back. All right, I'm back for just a brief demonstration. I've just finished doing all my focusing on this side. I did go take a look at the development of the bevel under the microscope, and it's about twice as large, and I'll show you that at the end of this. But I just wanted to show you how easily now the Chu Nagura slurry just flows over both sides. It's much better than it was on my first pass through. So you know, could I have assessed this geometry ahead of time and saved myself going backwards? Yeah, maybe. But you know, I've never seen this razor before. I don't know anything about the steel. So my choice was to be a little bit more conservative, see how it develops. It might have developed fine enough that I could just go forward. So you know, that was my approach, to be a little bit more conservative, go a little further, and then inspect, and then take action if necessary. Yeah, so you can see that that's just coming up over the edge with ease. Okay, I'm gonna come back after I get through the honing phase here. Okay, here we are on the coma, just to give you an idea of the behavior. Here we are on the DMT Toma Nagura. You can see the flow of the slurry is nice and even on both sides, and it's just flowing very easily. I have no torque, just letting the edge bias be only pressure down. So looking good here. Here we are on soapy water. Here's the test after soapy water. Soundless, push into the cloud. Not push into the cloud territory, just push into the cloud. Just beautiful. Okay. All right, I've shown you the microscope image of the edge as it came off of the soapy water solution on the Ozuku stone. I also took a measurement of the bevel. My microscope is calibrated, so I can take accurate measurements. So you see that the bevel width is about 1/10 of a millimeter, and I took the photo that it happens to be at the center of the blade right here, um, and that was where, or and still is, where the bevel is the smallest. Now it's about a tenth of a millimeter. Before I went back to the Chu nagura and really worked that one side, it was about half that. So half of a so yeah, a 0.05 millimeter would have been the measurement, and I just felt that's very, very small. So it's also, you can see from the condition of the edge that the apex looks very, very clean, and that is true now for the whole for the whole edge. Before there were slight indentations interspersed sort of randomly across the edge. That's gone now, and that's as a result of simply having more material with which to form the edge. Let's see if we're in the pink. I'm sure we are, but let's for just to stay to form here. Yeah, so soundless, effortless. This is just gonna shave incredibly. Yeah, amazing. I'm showing you the test. This is the final test. I did 20 laps on the fire hose linen. I did 40 laps on the steer hide leather, and so this is the final test. After that, I'm going to take a final microscope photo, and I will let you know the result of the shave test while talking over that photo. Okay, the shave test is done, and it was an extremely enjoyable shave. The this little razor handles very well. It's balanced very well. It's a really great little razor, and the edge was fantastic. I mean, it was what you would hope for from a Jnat edge. Soft and feathery, and yet cutting extremely efficiently, no tugging, that kind of thing. I have a very, very close, very comfortable shave that I had today. In addition to the razor, I used Ariana and Evans peach and cognac soap, and same aftershave. And I used a Vald brush with a Vald synthetic A1 knot in it. And yeah, terrific experience today. As usual, thank you very much for staying with me and for all your comments and questions that I get. And I will see you in the next one.